This episode contains some strong language and explicit content. We believe in free expression and open conversations, and sometimes that involves using words that might not be suitable for all ages.
Tailored for the mature adult audience, we will pull no punches as we explore the intricacies of leading teams, managing conflicts, and fostering a culture of accountability in the workplace and in real life too. Welcome to Fuck Around and Find Out, the no-nonsense, adult-oriented podcast series by the HR Lady that dives deep into the world of leadership, human resources, and the challenges of the modern workplace. If you're looking for candid conversations and a touch of humor, you're in the right place. Remember, in the world of leadership and HR, it's always better to be proactive than to, well, fuck around and find out. Hey everybody, Wendy Sellers here, the HR Lady. We are back with our special podcast mini-series, Fuck Around and Find Out. And JC and I have a very awesome, cool guest today, Trish Murphy. Hey Trish, how are you?
Hey, how are you? Thanks for having me.
Absolutely, Miss Marketing Smarty Pants. How you doing over there? I love the name of your website, marketingsmartypants.com. Guess what she does, everybody? Marketing.
Very true. Very true.
Hey, tell our listeners who are mainly HR, business owners, and managers, how you can help them maybe in their small business. And then, of course, working with their HR team or their lack of HR team, right?
Yeah. So we do a lot of, messaging, social media, branding, brand development, that type of stuff. So we can help, those small business owners or even anybody in the HR department, help them communicate better, what they do, what they don't do, but what problems they actually solve. So beyond just the educational pieces, right? Really developing the message and how do you get that hook and how do you get your audience to really understand what it is that your industry is all about, what makes you different and how you solve their problems.
Yeah, and that includes with attracting candidates, not just customers, right? I mean, in order to attract candidates, if somebody has an opening, the days of, the candidates will sign up and join us, no problem. They're gone. They're long gone. We really have to be, as HR and business owners and recruiters, we have to be marketing. And that's where I really, when I was in corporate HR a long time ago, I fell in love with my marketing team because they got it and they knew we needed to work together. We needed to be, marketing for HR and then HR for marketing too. And that's, I mean, you and I have known each other for quite some time. So obviously if I didn't like what you were doing, you wouldn't be on my podcast. But
yeah. It's so true, especially in this age where, you have employees who aren't just picking a job or a role. They're choosing a company. They're choosing a mission. They're choosing culture. That's important to them.
It really is. It absolutely is. And your website does say it all. You know me, I love talking about, mission, vision, values, especially company values, which are behaviors that people who work in the organization need to comply with. I unfortunately see so often that marketing departments are creating the mission, vision, and values, and they're not including the HR department. It drives me batshit crazy.
I would say the fact that the marketing department is creating mission, vision, values is a leadership problem, right? If that's not even in place, if the entire culture doesn't already understand that from the top down, the inside out and backwards, then that's your real problem, right?
Yeah, it really is. It's like, hey, leadership, you're sending the marketing team out to get this company on a roll, but you haven't have I can't talk. You have not actually asked anybody their opinions, including the employees who may have left or who have one foot out the door. So how do you work with your customers to making sure that those leaders that think they know it all don't get in the way of actually being successful?
So, back to the mission, vision, values you talk about, we were just have an onboarding call with a client. And that's one of the things we ask them, what's your mission, vision, values? And if they don't have it, I'm like, hey, you should really think about, developing that, because not only does it help your HR department and, your hiring process and your, just the internal, your employees, but helps your marketing department or that marketing agency develop content and market you and help you, communicate with the rest of the world. It really is such an essential part of the identity of not just your brand, but your entire company.
It really is. Hey, JC, you have any stats for us? Our listeners love statistics.
Absolutely do. When marketing and human resources work together, visits to the recruitment page of the websites increase actually by 66%, believe it or not.
Wow.
And according to a survey, 86% of HR professionals say recruitment is becoming more like marketing. And with that, I'd like to fire a shot across the bow right now for you, Trish. How many marketers does it take to screw in a light bulb? Do you know? None.
One.
None. They automated it. Ba-dum. So truly, nice. When we think about these statistics and the importance of marketing and HR and the visits to recruitment page being increased by 66%, that's not a small number right there. Is it really a realm of one size fits all? We're going to automate everything. AI is here to win. Or does the human touch come into play quite a bit there, Trish?
So nothing is one size fits all in anything in life, and it's particularly true in marketing. And, people can tell if you have automations in place, and they're helpful, but also I see brands and companies lean so heavily on the automation part that they've stripped the human factor out of all of it. So there really is a balance, and it's a different balance per brand. So if your brand is more personable, and then you really going to want more of that human touch involved in it.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm a huge fan of AI, as everybody knows or should know by now. But at the same time, it's just a resource. It's a tool to get that giant list of things off of your plate. And so you can focus on other things like being personable and interviewing candidates and talking to clients and talking to current employees. But folks that are listening today, please, I know most of you that are listening have the HR hat and not the marketing hat, but lean on your marketing team. Make friends with them. And make sure that you're working together so that you're selling the same message, not only to your customers, but to your employees, but then also your candidates. And that includes getting HR and marketing and many other teams as well involved in creating the vision, mission, and values of the organization. So many organizations that I know, I'll go onto their website and they might have a vision, but they have no mission. They have no set of values. They have no, and even their employees. I go into companies and I'll just jokingly ask, hey, anybody here know what the mission and vision is of the organization? And they start looking at each other. They look around the room. They're like, wait, there's a poster in here somewhere. What's going on? And they're like, we have it. But I'm like, if you don't even know what the essence of it is, you don't really have it. And not only do your customers know that, but your employees know that it's BS as well. And so they're just coming in, taking your money, doing the bare minimum, and then getting the heck out of there.
Right. Exactly.
Does everybody have a marketing team, though? Some people can't afford a marketing team, right? So what do they do in those instances? They've got to hire someone, or they could try to do it on their own. What are your thoughts on that?
That's a great question. That's a very, very good question. So they do it themselves, or they hire somebody to do it for them. In the small business, they're wearing, 100 hats, that small entrepreneurs just starting out, they're wearing all the hats, right? They're doing it all. And then as they grow, they are learning the skills of running a business, and then they're learning which areas, do I need to begin to hand off, and at some point, HR is one of those. At another point, marketing is one of those. Hiring another company to help you with that is always a really good option. That way you're not hiring an employee, and with that comes its risks, right? But there's nothing wrong with bootstrapping it. There's nothing wrong with hiring a company to help you. And go through that growth stages. But that marketing company is going to ask you, who are you? What's your brand about? What is your vision, mission, value, right? They want to understand all of that stuff. And that branding question, which goes hand in hand with your core, that vision, mission, values. That is one of the hardest things, believe it or not, in marketing to develop. And it's one of the hardest things I've seen for business owners to develop. And it's basically figuring out, who are you? Like, who am I as a company? That's a very difficult process to get through.
It really is. And, you're a consultant. What type of marketing do you focus on?
On a range, but one area that is our sweet spot is brand development. So really sitting down, not just with, creating your logo and all that pretty stuff, that Facebook stuff, but we sit down, we talk about the hard stuff, like, who is your client really? What's the list of problems that they have? What are their fears? Let's go beyond, hey, I just want to help people. Well, every business owner says they want to help people, but what is it really that you do? And, we really unpack some over the course of like 4, 5, 6 sessions, unpack all of that on a pretty granular level, and help that business owner really understand who they are and then be able to communicate that quickly and clearly to their audience.
Hey, JC, I see you just shared a stat with me. You want to share that with everyone else? Because I'm like, that's a lot of money.
Yeah, this is a good one right here. You're going to dig this one, Trish. Poor marketing data costs online businesses $611 billion per year. $611 billion. That's a lot of happy hours going wrong right there. I don't know. Shake the hands, meet your marketing team, get tight with them and go from there. If you've got a bad brand, though, right from the jump, maybe it is time to go outside of house and start from the ground up and try to retool yourself. I mean, a bad look's a bad look at the end of the day, especially after an EEOC filing and some very bad things going on. I mean, who wants to go work for an employer who's got bad stuff said against them all over the internets, which was invented by Al Gore, renamed by George Bush, by the way. Trish, your thoughts?
Yeah, I heard. Yeah. So you have companies that are of all sizes, right, that need help. And, I will start with the closer the leadership and planning and HR can be integrated with their marketing, the better outcome you're going to have. I tell everybody, marketing is not done in a silo, right? It's a team sport, and often it's a full contact team sport. So the more you guys can work together, right, the better outcome you're going to get. I know that folks mentally tend to put, marketing in their own office and in their own silo, but literally everything except for your P&L statement in your business is marketing. The way you answer the phone, the way that customers are greeted, your payment process, every part of that actually is marketing, and we tend not to think about it that way.
I love and don't love how you said it's a full contact sport. Oh my goodness. We're going to need some workers' comp claim forms. We're going to need some OSHA safety training.
Helmets.
Please don't tackle your marketing rep or your HR rep. Please, please, please. But it really is. I mean, one of the biggest, lessons that I learned in corporate America was to work with the other departments, not against them, because in the end, we're all there for the same thing. But we're often too busy, and or for small businesses, we just don't have either an HR team, a recruiting team, or a marketing team, sales team. But these skills are so specialized that you're better off just spending the money and getting a consultant like Trish, like myself, like many, many of our other friends who are consultants, to say, okay, we're going to specialize in this. We're going to focus on this and for me, I help them get the ball running, and hopefully they can take it from there. And if they get stuck, they come back and, ask me more questions or ask me to jump in. It is so important, though, folks that are listening. I don't care what size you are. If you are hiring people in this age, 2023 and beyond, you need to be working with a marketing expert to make sure that your job descriptions aren't boring. And so that, first of all, that they're legal. That would be where I would come in, but more so that they're not boring. And then that the careers page and the websites, they're all consistent. I see so many times, Trish, that, the marketing department has this great website and the websites are beautiful. And then you get to the careers page where there's openings and it's like, boring.
Right. Come work for us and be bored to tears.
Right. And it's like, this job, you will do this and you will not do this. Oh, that's the other thing I see too. I giggle now, but it drives me crazy. Where the job ad will say something like, do not email us, do not call us. I'm like, oh, I don't want to work for you. Even if you paid me twice of what, I'm getting paid now, because it's all negative. Other things not to do here. Go ahead, JC.
Yeah, something that's burning in my head thinking about it is reputational damage that happens at other ends of a company and how that has the negative effect on recruiting. Like, you could be doing your best work between HR and marketing, but at the end of the day, if there's a horror story that happens with the organization, you still got to kind of overcome that in your recruiting efforts a little bit, or do you just steer away from that?
No, I mean, it depends on what it is, right? And then so if it's bad enough, you really need to get a PR consultant in. And it's always easier to clean up a mess early rather than later. And honestly, the feedback I can say on that is, be wise about what you're asking for. And so for example, I read a lot of job descriptions for marketing people because that's my industry, right? And I'm shocked at the number of, companies that are requiring a bachelor's degree and a bunch of experience, and they're paying $15 an hour. I'm like, what? Be real. It's so insulting when you see that type of stuff. It's incredible.
Yeah, it really is. And it's important to be realistic. I help some of my clients recruit, and if they don't have their act together with the job description, I help them get there. But if they don't have their act together with pay, I'm like, nope, go pay somebody else, because I'm not putting my reputation on the line to help you, basically screw somebody over. No, thank you. Go do that on your own. You can't give me enough money to do that. And I know you're just like that too. I just want to ask you, how did you end up where you are? You have years of experience in marketing and many things, including in the military. So thank you for your service. How did you end up here?
So, because of the military, right, I had the Montgomery GI Bill that paid for my college. So when I got out of the military, after a few years, I went to school, and chose marketing as my major. By the way, I did that by raising, I was doing that, raising kids and going and homeschooling them and doing all that other stuff. So when I graduated college, I really discovered I loved marketing. So I did marketing for free for some friends for a couple of years just to cut my teeth. And then I discovered, hey, I really like this. Let's do it. I want to do this for other people. And then that just kind of started this journey, right, of growing a business. And, what drew me to your podcast is said, fuck around and found out, right? And for me, it really is like, I fucked around, I found out. And so my secret sauce really is looking for opportunities to work my ass off. Even if I felt like, that client couldn't pay me what the service was worth. I don't care if you're a $300 a month client or a $3,000 a month client, we're going to bust our ass for you. And that's really, we fucked around, worked hard, and we found out that you can have success if you just work your ass off. So it doesn't mean you're not going to mistakes, you're not going to mess up, but if you wake up every day and you're doing your ever living best for that person right in front of you, it pays over and over again.
Yeah, I 100% agree. And before JC says something here, I just wanted to also say, to both of you, because JC is also former military as well. Thank you both for your service and for fucking around and finding out. It truly is, though. All three of us are hard workers, and it's a lot easier to be a hard worker when you're passionate about what you do. JC,
Absolutely.
You had something you wanted to say?
I actually have a horror story from the world of marketing if you want to hear it.
Sure. We love horror stories.
All right, so,
hopefully our names aren't attached.
So going down the vein of the fact that, something that happens with an organization might not necessarily be good for their reputation, and you might have to overcome that in recruiting. Domino's Pizza ran a campaign promising 100 years of free pizza to anyone who got a tattoo of their logo and shared it on social media. That led to a flood of people getting Domino's tattoos on various body parts. However, the company ended the campaign prematurely after a very large response. They eventually limited the offer to just 350 winners, costing Domino's a ton of money. The lesson here: The importance of understanding your customer base and anticipating their reactions. Little did they know that little Tommy from Topeka will get the Domino's logo tattooed in the nether regions. Back to you.
Yeah. That's the type of reasons why we have to have little disclaimers at the bottom of advertising, right?
Very little ones for Tommy in Topeka in the nether region. Correct.
This is
it's like the Pepsi and the Harrier thing like years ago, right?
This is also the reason why we have to have harassment and discrimination training and laws and why HR people drink a lot.
Yes, absolutely.
Well, any last piece of advice, Trish, to our listeners today that maybe don't have any kind of HR or marketing, or maybe they have one or the other and they're saying, you know what, you've said a few things and I need to make some changes in my organization.
Hey, I would say this, if you're not sure what you need, have some conversations with people. Most companies and agencies and consultants like yourself, they'll sit down and have a conversation with you for a little while. So, invest some time and money, or not even money, invest some time and talent into just having some conversations with a handful of experts and start educating yourselves, because you don't know what you don't know.
Yeah, absolutely. I 100% agree. I know me personally, I just help people because I help them. Like somebody emailed me today, just some random stranger said, oh my goodness, I found you online. I need help with my resume. Can you give me some advice? And I was like, yeah, just send it to me. I'll fix it up and it'll take me 5 minutes. He's like, really? Nobody will help me. I'm like, what kind of human are you that you won't help this person and it's only going to take them 5 minutes? And you know what? This person might get a really great job and then turn around and hire all of us, right? For our services. So folks that are listening, help people because it's the right thing to do. Ask for help. You'll be surprised who might actually help you, even if it is for free or low cost. But even if you take away the low cost part, don't just hire people because they're cheap, because that doesn't necessarily mean they're good. Doesn't mean they're bad either. But hire people because you want to be the best in your organization. Reach out to people like Trish Murphy of Marketing Smarty Pants. I love it. I love the name of that. Or myself, Wendy Sellers, the HR lady. And then, of course, if you need JC, he is an MC and he can MC your event and we could be your speaker. So there we go. We're all going to meet again.
I'm also ordained. Right. So if you need a reverend for something or a minister, I got your back. And you'd have HR. Right, we could do it in the workplace, maybe even. We could market it very big. It'd be huge. I don't know.
Absolutely not.
The HR people take all the fun out of things.
Just go to the end of the parking lot beyond the lamps, right?
Speaking of, one of our next sessions on Fuck Around and Find Out is going to be about religious discrimination. So thanks everybody for joining. We'll listen to us on our next episode. And then for those of you that are like, you know what, I have kids in the car, we'll have some clean ones coming up too. Take care.